speeding all around. So if you don't mind saying your name, it's you say your first and last name. And this is your LA year one.
Hi, Sarah Stouffer, LA year one. Take one. Ah,
You got that on your first take.
thank you. I'm
That's
a one-take wonder. It's what they call me in the industry.
A take wonder.
One-take wonder.
I like take wonder a little bit better.
Take wonder. Boy wonder.
So tell me about your first year in LA.
My first year in LA was a full-on party. It's not true at all. I got a restaurant job working at a fondue restaurant called The Melting Pot. I don't know if you've ever been. I don't know if they're still around anymore. It's not fondue, it's fondue. Cheese and chocolate, and it was the worst job I've ever had. But listen, it got me through and paid the rent. And it was crazy, man. I was out here on my own, and I was 19, and I was just figuring it out. Nobody was telling me what to do or how to do it. And I went on so many random auditions that I found on websites. It's a wonder I haven't been murdered to this day. I was auditioning to be a Disney princess at Tokyo Disney.
What princess was it?
So there's tiers of princesses. So there's, according to your height, I believe I'm short, so I was an Alice, a Wendy from Peter Pan, and a Tinkerbell, maybe?
What was the princesses for the tall ones?
Taller, you would be, if you're really tall, you'd be like a villain. And Mary Poppins and Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas can be tall, I believe. I don't know, I'm 5'2", so they didn't let me in the tall girls audition.
That sounds unfortunate.
Yeah, so I was auditioning for everything under the sun that I could get my hands on, and just trying to hustle in a way where you're like a cat in a bag and you're just trying to find your way out.
So I'm assuming you moved out here in search of being a actor.
I did, yeah. I grew up doing musical theater in Northern California, a small town called Vacaville, or Vacaville. And I did musical theater and I loved it my whole life. And honestly, it was between this and moving to New York to be on Broadway. So I didn't think I had the pipes to sing on Broadway, so I decided I'd try LA, thought it might be easier. And I'm not sure that it was easier, but it was really cool. I'm glad I moved here, and LA has become my new home. I know how to get around here easier than I know how to get around in Vacaville when I go home to visit.
What I find a little fascinating about people who move from New York to LA, who, we hear the term, if you make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Mm-hmm. But those are the people who struggle the most, are the ones who move from New York. Because it seems like a lot of people have LA fucked up.
Yeah, I haven't met anyone who's moved out here from New York, I don't think. But I do know that there's a rivalry between New York and LA. And I don't know why. I thought New York was really, really cool. I like New York too. There's definitely a different vibe. There's definitely a different pace of life and whatnot. And there's probably different type of people because we're driving in our cars so often as opposed to being out on the street with the people. But
that's fascinating because I don't really hear too many people in LA comparing themselves to New Yorkers, but I wonder if it's the other way around.
That's true, yeah. I do think that might be true. I've never met an LA person who's like, nah, I can never live in New York. Maybe we're just more easygoing, and maybe that's the style of the pace of life you have to be in New York to get by. It's such a tough city.
All right.
But we're not talking about New York, we're talking about LA, because it's cooler.
So what were your expectations when you came out here?
I don't want to say I had no expectations, because obviously I moved out here with a goal and a dream in my mind, but I didn't know how I was going to achieve it. So I don't know that I had expectations per se. I just was hoping to make something happen. And eventually I did. It just took a little bit longer than maybe I had anticipated.
How long did you think it was going to take?
I would say when I moved out to LA, I thought, I'd be auditioning for major film roles in the first year. And that did not happen. But you know, I did eventually meet people and learn how things work out here, how you get an agent, how you can get in the door for those auditions. And everybody I met along the way helped me in some way, changed me in some way. And that's a really cool thing about LA, is the sense of community once you find it. And you just have to be open to finding it and talking to people. And you'll find there's so many like-minded people out here, as far as a lot of people have come out here to chase a dream, whether that be painting or, you know, in the film industry in some way or the other. There's a lot of people who have moved to this place because it's the center of the film industry. And once you get talking, you find that a lot of people are really happy to help and to share and to give what they have.
Did you ever come across someone that you thought, there's no way if I asked them for help that they would help me, and then you found the opposite, that they were more than willing to help?
I would say that when I first moved out to LA, I did meet some people who were very guarded with their information. And then I found an acting studio that I went to, and it was taught there that this is a community, there's enough for everybody, and we share information with each other, and we share positive vibes with each other, and good wishes, and any way that you can help. And after that, I was like, oh, this is the way that it should be done. You know, it's not me or her. It's, you know, we all have an opportunity, and kind of may the best man win.
You know what I find is, when you're at the lower levels, that's when you deal with the people who are guarded. It's like they feel like they have the best idea. It's like, oh, I have this idea, but I don't want to say it because I don't want you to steal it. And then as you go up, that's not the case at all. People are more than willing to share the information that they have.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know that to be true, but I do know that I've met some wonderful people who have all come here with a common goal, whether it be, you know, it's not the exact same goal, but with a common goal of creating or reaching a goal or a dream, and everyone's just happy to help, you know, and if you find somebody who's not, then thank them for their service and move on.
Was there ever anything that may have blindsided you in your first year that you just didn't see coming?
Let's see.
Sounds like a few situations.
No, I was gonna say the burritos. The burritos blindsided me in LA.
How did the burritos blindside you? Please tell us.
Well, as I said, I moved out here at a young age, and I had been cooking for myself and living at home. And when I moved out here, I was like, oh, I should eat a burrito for every meal. And man, did it sneak up on me. Still eat a lot of burritos, but you know, that blindsided me. Just eating a family-sized bag of M&Ms every night did not turn out as well as you might have thought it would, but it was delicious, and it made me very happy.
I do feel that is something that people should be warned about.
Don't eat a tear and share. It says tear and share, not tear and eat the whole thing.
Because there is a lot of fast food places out here where it's like very easy to snack, and I know
so delicious.
Right.
It's so good. Why would you not? I will say that I still enjoy a La Salsa burrito very often. And a full-size bag. We're not talking the little ones. We're talking like the bags as big as this of peanut M&Ms.
You ever had a sushi burrito?
No. I don't think that sounds very good, but I'm vegetarian, so maybe that's why. That was one of the questions I got asked in my final round of interviews to play Ariel in Tokyo Disney Sea, I think is what it's called. You had to go in and do an interview with these casting people in character. And they said, oh, and they were asking questions like little kids would ask you. And they're like, what do you eat, Ariel? And I'm thinking, because as a vegetarian, I've never had sushi with fish in it. I've only ever had like an avocado roll, a cucumber roll. And so my answer was like sushi, because I was thinking seaweed and rice. You know, I'm like, that's a good answer. Turns out they go, wait, so you eat your friends? Needless to say, I did not book that job.
So you basically said that you're accountable.
Oh my God, I messed up. But it was fun. It was a really cool process to see how it works, you know. They do a great job. Very thorough.
Was there ever a point that you felt you just had enough of LA?
Oh gosh, there's never been a point where I felt like I had enough of LA. I've, if anything, it's quite the opposite. I've grown more and more in love with LA as the years have gone by. I think when I first moved here, it was survival mode, go with what you know, go to work, go home. And I didn't go to auditions, you know, didn't get too outside of my day-to-day routine. And now that I've lived here for a while, I've begun exploring other parts of Los Angeles. I mean, it's a huge town, and there's still places, I was saying today, there's still places, you know, 5 miles from my house that are parts of LA I've never been to. But I continue to discover new, beautiful things every day. And I feel very lucky that I get to see that. I mean, even in quarantine times, we found drive-in comedy shows at the Magic Castle that are hilarious and so fun. And in kind of sad, dark, depressing times, we're still creating out here in LA. We're still, you know, trying to bring our art in whatever way that we can. And I think that's a really cool spirit that people here have.
What are ways you found to create during this time?
I have started a production company this year. And we are filming with a next to nothing crew, next to nothing budget, next to nothing actors, and we're coming up with some really, really beautiful, exciting content. And that's what I'm talking about. And I think that's a lot of, obviously it varies from person to person, but that's a lot of the spirit that you get in the city is the spirit of a hustler.
Did you think so you would probably call yourself a hustler today, right?
Ooh, I'm a very lazy hustler, if that's a thing. I try to constantly work, because I know if I don't do it, there's 10 girls in line behind me who want it more than I do. So you gotta work hard and fight and be ready when you get the call.
Nice. What's some of the biggest lessons you've learned since living in LA? Or out of that first year, what would you say is the biggest lesson you learned? Life lesson.
Life lesson. I would say that I was very surprised, and this is gonna sound so stupid, so bear with me, but everybody says network, and I thought, you know, I don't want to go to these sleazy Hollywood parties where everyone's a producer and can put you in their film. And that's what I thought networking was. And now I'm realizing that network can just be being open to new friend groups and meeting new people and finding genuine connections with these people. And that expands your network. You find people that you want to work with, or that they want to work with you. And you can find new friends, you can find business partners, you can find creative advice. You can find all sorts of things. It doesn't have to be at those sleazy Hollywood parties. You can just genuinely, organically meet people. And I think that was the most important thing that I've learned as a person and as an actor living in Los Angeles.
If there's one piece of advice you can give someone who's teetering the line of moving to LA, or who is in their first year of living in LA, what would it be?
Well, as a general advice, I would say explore Los Angeles. It has a lot to offer. There are art pop-ups, there are events, varying ranges of cost, that they're museums, there are so many things that this city has to offer that I didn't know were here until recently, in the last couple of years. So I would encourage you to stick with it, work hard, but also go out and explore the city.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I know you said today that, well, this year you started your production company, and you guys are constantly creating, which is phenomenal. What else are you doing today?
What? That's not enough?
I mean, this is LA, right?
That's not enough for you? Yeah, we've just been really focusing on creating our own content, and then also, I'm still acting full-time or available full-time to act. So, balancing auditions that are all self-tapes from home for the most part, along with starting from start to finish a production company. We're talking doing all of it, writing, producing, all of, from soup to nuts, as my grandmother would say, doing the whole thing from scratch. So that's taking up 100% of our time.
So, if you're so consumed in the film world, what do you do as a release to help keep your sanity?
I watch Jeopardy at night and see if
Rest
I
in
can
peace,
answer,
Alex Trebek.
R.I.P. And see if I can answer any of the questions. That's kind of fun. And like I said, go out and explore. I love to go and see new exhibits and art and comedy shows and concerts when they're happening, and try new restaurants and just enjoy time with our friends and hang out with my cat Franklin. And yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had. There's a lot of fun to be had here, and there's definitely something to a work-life balance, so you don't burn out too soon and pack up and go home.
I hear that. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
this is perfect.
Thank you.